Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another performance enhancing podcast with your host, Elon Ferdman. So today I'm going to give you a real short, down and dirty one, and I'm also going to share some massive news with you. So the massive news is that we are actually in the process, if you haven't heard already, of rebranding our entire website, our entire brand, our entire image. If you follow us on Facebook, you probably saw us post a few pictures, but we're having a whole new website done and a whole new image and all that stuff done. Now, along with that, we are have been for a while now, creating what we call the Have It All Academy. It's our group coaching. We do it every 2 weeks. You get about 5 hours worth of group coaching with us for $197. And if you're interested, you can even get a $100 coupon and try it out for $97, which is downright ridiculous. In any event, we also have the Have It All live experience. So in any event, we wanted to somehow tie in everything that we're doing now on the new brand with what we'll be doing on the podcast. And in light of that, and please, if you're driving, don't panic with what I'm about to say. We are actually going to be shutting down the Performance Enhancing Podcast and instead opening up the Have It All Podcast. So there's going to be a whole new podcast. It's going to be a similar model. We're still going to have episodes on Monday and Thursday. The difference is we're no longer going to be breaking up the content into two-part interviews. We're going to have an interview portion, and then we're going to have either a guy or I sharing our Have It All live or Have It All coaching webinar, or Guy and I are going to do kind of a book review or something. So there's going to be 2 episodes, and they're going to be mostly in line with what it is that we're doing for our Have It All Academy. So different personal coaching, different tips, things like that is really what we're going to be focused on. As SatoriPrime, our brand is really gearing towards mostly mindset stuff. So for those of you guys that have been around us for a long time, you know that we were doing internet marketing and we were helping people with marketing and things like that. We're really phasing ourselves out of that world and really trying to focus more on group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and then year-long coaching experiences plus live events. That's where our heart is. That's where our passion is. And we want to pursue that in its entirety. So somewhere in the month of October, I will announce this to you guys, and we will be launching the new podcast. My hope is that together we can make the new podcast even better than the old podcast, meaning how do we get this out to the hands of more people? So I know there's a bunch of you out there that have had massive breakthroughs by listening to this podcast. Believe it or not, this has been going on for over 2 years? More. Yeah, 2 years. More, actually. This will be 3. I think in February we'll hit 3 years. So, yeah, it's been a while. And I think it's time for a refresh. I think it's time for something new. So we're still going to deliver the same kind of content that you guys love and have loved for quite some time. But we're going to do it in a whole new package, hopefully a much better package that you guys feel inclined to share with your friends and family and whoever you think will get the benefits. So the goal is that we want to build a podcast that will get to 1 million downloads as quickly as humanly possible. And that's only going to be possible by people like you. So I hope you don't take that badly. I hope you will join us on the new podcast. I promise that it will be even better content. One of the things that I'm going to be doing early on is actually going back through some of the best content and grab some highlights and kind of do a refresh on them of, now having listened to them, here's some new commentary, bringing other people on to talk about them as well. We're going to obviously interview some of our favorite guests again on the new podcast. And it's going to be an absolute blast. We're going to be releasing little micro videos on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So you guys will be able to share those with your friends and family and just keep up to date with the latest and greatest that we are doing here in SatoriPrime land. So it's been something that's been in the works for quite some time. It's still in the works, actually. But the processes and all that stuff have been laid down. And I just really wanted to make you aware of it, share that little bit of news with you. and know that it's coming here. Probably, I'd say in the next 2 to 4 weeks max, that new one will be launched. Now, when it's launched, it would mean the world to us. If you've gained any sort of wisdom from any of the 270 some odd episodes that we've done, and it's impacted you in any way, shape, or form, it would mean the world to us if when we actually launch the new podcast that you go, subscribe to it, leave us a comment, and rate it. So that will help us get into that new and noteworthy, and that will really, really help us get the word out. If you guys have any ideas on how we can make this even bigger, I would love to hear from you. As always, Elon at SatoriPrime.com would be the best place to reach me. So yeah, I wanted to really share those big news with you. I actually just got off the phone not too long ago with the person that's going to be helping us produce the podcast and create the podcast and all these micro videos. So very, very excited. There's going to be a new soundtrack, new intros, new logos, new everything, which is kind of cool to see how far we've come and what we're capable of today. But wanted to make you aware of that. Wanted to ask that you help us in launching that in these next few coming weeks. And again, if you have any ideas whatsoever, Elon at SatoriPrime.com. Now, the little tidbit for today that I want to share with you is about your brain. So you've probably heard me say this before, but I'll just give you another cut at it. I was just reading this book called Mind Hack. And the way it describes the brain is like a supercomputer, which I completely agree with, as we describe that as well. And one of the things that he has you take a look at is the fact that your brain's been programmed for decades for most of you. And what I mean by programmed is you hear certain things, you say, oh, that makes sense, or oh, no, that's horrible, or somewhere in between that spectrum. And based on that, you create certain code. And code, I mean like a certain program. And these certain programs are either moving your life forward or keeping you back. Very simple. They're either helping you expand or shrinking you. Your job as a human being is to basically figure out which programs are assisting your expansion and which are stopping your expansion. And specifically for the ones that are enhancing your expansion, right? Making you go, making you successful, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the ones that you kind of want to try to reverse engineer and figure out, ooh, those are interesting. When did those get created? Ooh, how do I create more of those? Things like that. That's secondary. The other ones, the ones that keep you playing small, the ones that keep you from expanding, those are the ones that are really interesting. So I'll give you an example. If someone, for example, is overweight and wants to work out and lose that weight, if they have certain programs, they're overweight because of the programs that they have in their mind, right? Things that you've made yourself believe over time. And once you create a program, you'll probably notice that you are very avid about finding proof that that program or that story is valid. So if someone's overweight, it means that their programming is outdated. Now, the only time you'll ever notice that your programs are outdated is when you're in the world of expansion. Meaning if you go about your day-to-day, you're comfortable where you are, you want to stay there, you have no interest of expanding, having better relationships, having better health, having more money, having more sex, you don't give a shit about that. Then guess what? These programs mean nothing to you. In fact, they'll run so smoothly that you will never even know them. It's when you step out of that comfort zone. It's when you put yourself in a new environment. It's when you start playing a different game. That's when you start to notice how outdated some of these programs are. So back to our example of someone that's overweight. Someone that's overweight probably, most likely I would assert, has programs such as exercising is hard. I don't like exercising. It doesn't matter how hard I work out, I never can lose the weight. Now, that person may have tried things and they didn't work. I'm all for that. And yet the story is not valid, right? Because someone that does work out and has a completely different outlook on working out, that person is going to have completely different results. So your job is to start reprogramming these. And the first way to do that is you need to start becoming aware of them. So in the areas of life that are not a 10 for you, 10 out of 10, right? Whether it's health, whether it's relationships, whether it's your finances, whether it's your work life, whether it's your relationship with your kids or your spouse, or you don't have a spouse and you want a spouse. In any of those areas that you are not living at a 10, that's our entire training. Our entire training is the Have It All. The reason we're going through the Have It All podcast is because every area of life we want to be a 10. Now, some of you think like that's impossible. And I'm here to tell you that it is 100% possible. You can have the family life of your dreams, the job of your dreams, the body of your dreams, the bank account of your dreams, the car of your dreams. It's all accessible to you. It's, are you willing to do the work necessary? Are you willing to clean up and reprogram that code to have it all? It's simple. It really is simple. So the first thing you want to do is, what are the conversations that you have in that specific area right now that is not a 10, and write those down. And here's the cool part. In just simply writing these things down, what you are doing is, if things are in here, this is what I call monologue. This is you talking to yourself. Up here, these things become like movies. Very elaborate, very dramatic, very factual, very this is the way life is. Sometimes in the simple act of just writing something down and reading it back to yourself, you can see how absolutely ridiculous that thing that you wrote is. And just by the virtue of doing that, you've lessened the effect. You've lessened the effect that that code or that story has on your life. So the exercise I'd love for you guys to do as soon as you stop listening to this, if you're in the car, maybe use a voice app or something like that. But if you're home or in an office, just take 5 minutes right now. Pick an area. Just pick one for now. You can do this with others down the road. Pick that area and start writing down the conversations, specifically the negative conversations that you have about that specific area. So, like the example I just gave you about being overweight and not exercising, it's most likely you have some crappy code about exercising. It doesn't work. It's too hard. I don't have the time. And what you want to get is that all of these things you made up. They're not real. They're just stories and codes that you made up. And the second you write this down and realize how ridiculous they are, in fact, put yourself in a coach's standpoint. If you were coaching yourself or you were coaching someone else and someone told you these things, would you 100% know that these things are factual? No. Because clearly for someone like me, working out is exciting. I love working out. And I'll tell you why I love working out. I don't love working out for the way I look or anything like that. I love working out is because I play tennis. And for me, being better at tennis requires me to work out. And that's my motivation. I create workout routines to be better at tennis. And by the virtue of it, I feel amazing. My mind feels amazing. I'm in better shape at 35 than I was ever in my entire life. I'm faster today. I have more stamina. I'm stronger. I feel and look better. I mean, it's crazy. And it's all because of that, right? So whatever your conversation is and whatever the area is, take a minute, take 5, start writing some stuff down. I'd love for you to share them with me if you're open to it. Elon@SatoriPrime.com. Would love to hear from you guys and see if by doing that, you're going to lessen the effect of these conversations on you. Okay? So that's it for today. Just wanted to give you that little power tip. and also make you aware of the big change that's heading our way here in the next 2 to 4 weeks. If you have any feedback on how we can make the new Have It All podcast better, sexier, more effective for you, please, please, please don't hesitate. This is just as much yours as it is ours. Without you, this shit would not exist. So be clear about that. Again, Elon at SatoriPrime.com. You can find out. You can tell me whatever it is that you want. Please hold nothing back. Truly, truly looking to make this new version of this podcast even that much better. And for all of you guys that are still on the fence or want to come check out our event in San Diego, you could just head over to youwillhaveitall.com/live and find out all the details about the event. Clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast. The date is November 3rd through the 5th. So you have about a month left to go grab your tickets. So make sure you do that now. We're still offering 50% off on your $297 Save a Seat if you do it but by October 15th, I believe. So if you still want to get half the money back, do it then. After that, you will have to pay in full. There's nothing we can do about that. So love you guys, and we'll speak to you real soon. Have an amazing rest of your week.